Hey, what's going on, guys? Garden Shed here, and welcome out on the Tiger again today. Filling in potholes. To be honest, I don't really understand the whole pothole filling. Well, I do get that they want to fill in potholes, but why they don't just replace the road surface where it's particularly bad, or else the patches just lift up. Young Farmers Country Rally. Nice. But considering farming is so technical and stuff, it's actually kind of nice that there's Young Farmers Association, to help people get into farming and teach them about it and things. Because it's not just a case of plant stuff and things will grow. I mean, if any of you have watched Clarkson's Farm, you'll know it's a heck of a lot more technical than that. I mean, I only know bits because my grandfather was a farmer. I mean, he packed that in when I was little. He kept a few fields and barn and just sort of rented it out, but I'll never forget his barn. It was a brilliant thing. Old tin barn, but it had a proper oldie-woldy workshop. It was sort of built out of breeze blocks in the corner of it. You know, what you think of an old, musky workshop, sort of lots of rusted metal drawers with things in, all neatly organised. And huge pillar drills and all sorts for fixing agricultural machinery. It was incredible. You spend hours in there, messing around with bits and pieces. We used to go and have our conferences, so once we were old enough to drink with him, he'd be like, "Oh, why don't you come round and we'll have a conference." He usually involved us sitting in his workshop in a couple of old deck chairs, having a beer for God knows how many hours on end, or a couple, while Grandma thought we were doing some sort of labour in the workshop. Hard times, I tell you. I'm trying to think, the last time I came this way was for Jeffrey's biker journey last year. We had a bear drop off in Coventry. I still need to edit my videos. That particular occasion I didn't record. We met at the Triumph HQ before doing the bear drop off, so sort of had a quick wander in there, and I've never known rain like it. I mean, the standing water, I was on my Himalayan, the standing water was just ridiculous. And just to add insult to injury, I'd taken the waterproof linings out of my trousers to re-waterproof them the night before, because I knew it was going to be heavy rain, and I forgot to put them back in. So by the time I got here and the rain was only just starting again, within about a minute I was absolutely soaked to the skin. And Gore-Tex boots are great in terms of they don't let water in. I can safely tell you, once water's in them, because it's run down the leg into the top of your boot, the water doesn't come out of them. Yeah, basically the entire road was underwater, which meant dodging potholes along here was interesting. Do you know what? With the state the roads are in nowadays, I am so glad I no longer have a sports bike. But they were saying that basically because of climate change, our roads are decaying faster than ever, because we're getting colder winters and hotter summers, and our roads just can't keep up with them. I think Hannah was telling me, so basically climate change doesn't progress. Our sort of way of building roads and stuff, their maximum tolerances are about 15 years behind now. So with colder winters and hotter summers, our roads are just getting worse and worse. But I remember reading another article about 5 years ago, something like that, that was saying that to fix the roads up to a reasonable standard, or even good or excellent, would take over 10 years. And they're a lot worse now than they were back then. I don't know Fleckney very well, so I kind of, or this area very well, so I kind of have to follow the sat nav, and it just, when it's on twisty routes, rather than sort of taking the main thoroughfare through a village and through housing estates, and then it'll just link back to the main thoroughfare that you entered in on. It's a bit stupid. Oh, clearly a Landy fan. My brother would love that. My brother's been besotted by Land Rovers since I was a child. He's had all sorts of old, I think he's had a Series 2, a Series 3, Defender 110, a couple of 90s, a couple of seriously sort of competition spec off-roaders. I think he was about 19 when he rebuilt his Defender. He was at university, which meant the build took longer because of course uni students have no money, whatever he could scrimp together went on Land Rover parts, and it took him about 3 years to rebuild it. Basically his entire uni thing. I'm pretty sure most of his student loan actually went on Land Rover parts, but that was, you know, brand new chassis, complete rebuild. Sorry, I am being a bit slow. One of my pin lock's failing, so my visor's misting up. And it probably doesn't show very well on camera, but this road is full of gravel and potholes. Like that one. And that one. Like I said, I am really glad that I don't have a sports bike anymore. I mean, you can probably see from the vibrations coming through the camera, and, you know, how much the bike is moving around, just how bad this road is. God, you don't see very many of those VXRs anymore. Is it Vauxhall's 400 horsepower sedan that they made years ago? Is it the Monaro? I know in Australia it was Holden. So they also had the Maloo, which was the pickup truck with the same engine in. We've got some interesting roads now. It's been a bit built up. We're sort of skirting the edge of Leicester. I know it's a bit grey and overcast, but it's actually quite a nice morning. It wasn't quite cold enough. It was that point in the morning where it was just a little bit too chilly for thermal gloves. Sorry, a little bit too cold for summer gloves. It was about 5-6 degrees, something like that. And I hate wearing thermal gloves. I'll only really wear them if it's raining, like, or it's bitter, like 1 or 2 degrees. I'll resort to wearing thermal gloves when I'm at risk of my knuckles splitting. And yes, that has happened on quite a few occasions. I don't like the lack of dexterity. I must admit, I'm getting slightly paranoid that I've put the wrong address in, because I've yet to see a sign for Hinkley, and we're about 15 minutes away, and Hinkley's a fairly big place, so, you know, it tends to be pretty well signposted. Hopefully I'm not late. I cannot stand being late. I don't mind other people being late, but I've got a proper bugbear about it. On time is late to me. I'm one of those people. It really annoys me. I get it from my dad, and I would rather turn up somewhere and wait 20 minutes. It's weird the things you get from your parents, because my dad and I are very different people. Always have been. He's a bit of a neat freak. I'm not. I'm more casual, he's more formal. There are loads and loads of differences. Yeah, I really need to fix my pin lock. I can't see a thing. Right, next weekend, sports bike shop. Still can't get used to having 6 gears on the Triumph. Pretty much into everything a gear too high. I suppose I haven't actually done that many miles on it. I've only done a few hundred since I've owned it. Living Rock Church. Is that someone that's taken that, Clapton is God graffiti from the sort of 80s far too seriously? I've got a couple of debit cards and a bit of cash in my pocket, but I've completely forgotten to bring my wallet, because otherwise I could have popped into Motor Central on the way home. I need to have a look at some gloves. Another reason to go to school. Alright guys, I'm going to end the video here. Thank you ever so much for watching, and take care.